Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are just weeks away from the beginning of the 2024 Michigan high school football season. Last year, I had a lot of fun making videos about the 2023 playoff games. I learned a lot making those videos, like don't wear broken sunglasses while you're filming. Probably don't need to wear sunglasses at all. But anyway, I had so much fun that I figured for 2024, let's cover the full season from week 1 all the way to the championship game in November. Not sure how that's all going to look yet. That might be one video for every single game, or I'll combine multiple games into one video. But I hope to at least do a recap of some kind for every single game this season. Now, just like I did with the first 2 videos that I made last season, the team that we are going to focus on is Northville High School. That is where I went to school, so that just makes sense. I do hope to expand my quote-unquote coverage outside of just Northville, but the main focus will be on that team for the entire season. But for this video, for the week 0 video, today we are going to preview Northville's regular season schedule. But before we talk about the opponents, we should probably talk a little bit about Northville, give a little refresher, or perhaps this is the first time you're ever going to be hearing this information. So let's talk about Northville first. Last year, 10-2 season, district champions, probably one of, if not their best season in history. The expectations for this season are probably super high. The only 2 losses they faced last year were against Belleville, who I guess technically number 2 in the state of Michigan because they lost the championship game, but we all know that they are one of the best. This season's all about building consistency, becoming a regular district championship contender, and I'll talk more details about that when the season actually starts, because we haven't played any games yet, so I don't really know how that's going to go. Now, without further ado, let's begin the preview for the 2024 Northville High School regular season. The season will begin with an inaugural matchup. For the first time in school history, Northville will be up against Lake Orion. Lake Orion has a history of success, including the Division I championship in 2010, and they're also coming off of a strong 10-1 season. They played against some powerhouse teams in 2023, including Rochester Adams, West Bloomfield, as well as 2 games against Clarkston, the latter of which ended Lake Orion's season. This will undoubtedly be one of, if not the toughest scheduled opponent Northville will face this season, but a win is by no means off the cards. It's off to Plymouth for week 2, where Northville will face off against the Wildcats. Now, the 3 Plymouth-Canton area football programs have struggled the past few seasons. That includes Salem as well. Plymouth haven't made a proper playoff run since 2019, and they had just 4 wins between 2020 and 2022. And though their record last year of 4-5 wasn't incredible, it does show that the team is on a little bit of an upswing. They did end last season with 2 consecutive wins, so maybe Plymouth can start 2024 with a bit of pep in their step. Now, is that enough to bounce back from the 36-point spread they had in their meeting with Northville last year? Only time will tell. Back at home, it's the Brighton Bulldogs, one of the few teams Northville faced twice in 2023. While Brighton faced a pretty average 5-5 record last season, this is still one of the best teams in this part of the state. We can't forget in 2022 when Brighton spoiled homecoming, ending Northville's chance at a perfect regular season. Brighton are also the last team from the KLAA West to make it to the Division I finals. They did it back in 2019, where they came up just short against Davison. While Northville had them pretty squared away last year, this Brighton team burns hot. If Northville can beat them again in 2024, it isn't just another win, it's a statement of success. Up next is Canton. 14 consecutive playoff appearances from 2008 to 2021. But Now they're coming off of back-to-back 3-6 seasons, and they finished last in the KLAA West last year. It's been a difficult few years for this team, but winning is in their nature, and I consider this to be a wild card for next year. It's going to take some major improvement to come back from the blowout they were dealt in 2023, but a major school like Canton should be up to the challenge. Nearly 40 miles separate Northville and their next opponent, the Howell Highlanders. This will be Northville's homecoming game, adding another layer of excitement and possibly a little bit of pressure for this matchup. This one is a little bit of a rematch, as last year Northville were on the road and faced Howell at their homecoming, spoiling the party for the Highlanders. This could be an opportunity for Howell to return the favor. Back on the road, it's off to Salem, the last of the Plymouth-Canton area schools. The matchup between the Northville Mustangs and the Salem Rocks has a lot of history. These teams have faced each other more than 50 times, going all the way back to the 1950s. Though this is a long-running matchup, to call it a competitive matchup would be an overstatement. Salem hasn't beat Northville since 2017. Last year was certainly no exception, with Northville scoring their only shutout win of the season against Salem. We won't know for sure until the season begins. For a team that has just 4 wins in the past 5 years, Salem would need something big to rock Northville. Still on the road, this time it's a long drive to face the Hartland Eagles, a team that Northville has faced just 6 times, the least of any team in the KLAA West. The Eagles have claimed 4 wins against the Mustang, but last year was certainly not one that Hartland will want to remember. Northville scored a whopping 55 points, with 33 coming in just the first half. If it wasn't for a miracle touchdown and 2-point conversion late in the second half, this would have been the second shutout for Northville in a row. Of course, this game was played in the pouring rain, and Hartland has a lot more recent success than Salem to prove that a bounce back is certainly possible. Hartland won the KLAA West back in 2021, and as I mentioned earlier, all 4 of their wins against Northville have come in the past 6 years. The biggest game of not just this season, but every season is up next. Northville versus Novi, and the battle for the baseline jug. This rivalry game has gone on every single year since 1971, and it is certainly one of the biggest rivalries in the state of Michigan. Less than 2 miles separate Tom Holzer Ford Field and Novi High School, and their proximity to each other means that these two teams are always playing at similar levels. I'll be making a video specifically about this rivalry and previewing this game in the coming months, but just a little preview for now. Northville have had ownership of the jug for the past 2 years. Will they keep it, or is it time for the Vi? Yeah, I'll cut that one out. Also happening in Week 8, the winner of the KLAA West and East will be crowned. Last year, the winner of the West came down to this rivalry game, as both Northville and Novi were 7-0 heading into Week 8. And the last game of the regular season is the KLAA crossover, where the West teams play against the East teams. Here are the rankings from last year, and for the most part, the rankings decide which teams meet up. Last year, Northville were first in the West, so they played in the KLAA Conference Championship against Belleville, who were first in the East. Speaking of Belleville, they've been the East champs 3 years in a row, and they've converted all of those into conference championships. And with Bryce Underwood still at the helm of the Belleville team, I expect them to do the very same in 2024. Over on the West side, there's been 3 different winners in 3 seasons. And the last time a West team was conference champion was 2017, when Canton beat Churchill. That was before Belleville was even part of the KLAA. It's too early to speculate who Northville's going to play in this game. I will keep updating it as the season goes on. And that, folks, is going to do it for this video. Like I said earlier, I'll talk more specifics once we actually start playing games. If you do like this video, be sure to subscribe, share it around, let me know what you think. What do you want me to talk about? The recap for week 1 versus Lake Orion will be my next video, and we'll talk about all the nitty-gritty stuff then. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.